Hi guys, this is Amna Sam back with another live streaming today in front of you. I hope you guys are doing amazing with your loved ones and family. So usually it is a different time for me to have streaming and coming in front of you. And I am doing live streamings in the later half of the day. So it's always good to have change and embrace the change and experiment how we do it while having change in the life. So today I have with me one of my great friends at LinkedIn. He is Derick joining me from Australia. He is such a supporter, a person, a genuine person who believes in connecting people and then supporting truly to the people. How does he do basically? You will get to know in a couple of moments when he will be joining me soon. So he is basically a LinkedIn trainer, an expert industry person who knows that how we can bring out the best results using the social media platform, online platforms, which is LinkedIn and Facebook, which is again a huge platforms to understand when it comes to create business or have results basically. So which will again help you in your career within your niche and your industry and as well as in your business. So I'll be just inviting him in a couple of minutes. Stay tuned to the streaming and any questions you guys have for the LinkedIn optimization and any type of question related to LinkedIn, how it works, you are more than welcome to ask and leave in the comments. We would be definitely appreciating at the same time. And moving further, I just want to know from you all that how are you doing today? And from where you're watching and tuning in, just let me know. And feel free to ask any questions or any comments, any type of participation. You are more than welcome to. So let's welcome Derick. Yes, just give me a moment. Yeah.
Hello, Amna.
Hi,
how are
Derick.
you?
How are you?
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm well. Thank you for asking.
I am good. Thank you very much for joining, Derick. And it's so good to see you. Like always, I was just telling my audience that, the moment we got connected and the moment we had a conversation, it was such an insightful conversation we had. And since then, we are in our LinkedIn first degree connection, which is again,
Yes.
I believe it is something, a gem within network of LinkedIn. So yeah, it's great.
LinkedIn is a remarkable platform in the way that right now it's got about 760 million members, and a lot of those people are very authentic, very genuine, very willing to help, and just basically willing to help and support other people improve their experience with the LinkedIn platform. So it's a great platform from that point of view.
Absolutely, exactly, and truly, I experienced myself, when I started my LinkedIn journey, and how I learned, like, each section of the LinkedIn, and again, the beauty of the LinkedIn, how it is. So let's begin to talk about the beauty of the LinkedIn today. I must say that we will talk about that how we can create our profiles beautiful. We always talk about updating it, creating it organized, but the real thing is the beauty, the art of basically creating the LinkedIn profiles, right? So just feel free to share the massive information you have so that our audience can get the benefit out of it.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you for that warm introduction. Basically, one of the beautiful things about LinkedIn is not only the people, the friendships that you will make, and it's literally opening up the world, especially with things like this event that we're doing right now, with Zoom calls especially. I've made friends on LinkedIn all over the world, people who will be literally lifelong friends. And Amna, I know you're one of those people, and you've made some lifelong friends as well. So when we're in a better position internationally, when we can travel again, you'll find that all of these people are just the real, genuine people that you meet on LinkedIn and have formed these valuable friendships with. So that's one of the amazing things about this platform, is the genuineness, the authenticity of the people that you'll meet on the platform. The other thing too is, many years ago, back in 2013, I had a friend of mine describe LinkedIn to me. She said she had heard it described as the professional or the business version of Facebook. Now, back then is when my real LinkedIn journey started. Officially, I first opened up my account way back in 2004, but I did basically nothing with it until 2013 when I heard that comment from my friend. And I thought to myself, maybe I should have another look at this. And so I did. I found my old login details and I had a look around. I discovered I had 207 connections, and that's where my real journey began. And I started learning from people who were doing very well on the platform, and I started applying some of those steps that they were doing. And slowly my business grew. I started writing articles and started getting more and more inquiries about my services as a web designer and doing SEO for people. And I wound up with clients literally all over the country and also overseas as well. So it's an amazing platform from that perspective. However, like many people, I made some mistakes, I made some errors, and because I was literally doing test and measure, or trialing different strategies to figure out which ones worked, which ones didn't. And it was a bumpy road, but then I managed to figure out the best strategies that were working extremely well for me, and that's what I like now sharing with other people, which is what I will share with you today.
Yes,
One of the ways that I describe LinkedIn is I describe it in two ways. Number one, it's the world's largest database of businesses, their owners, and their employees. And when you think about that, that's exactly what it is. So think about the potential of that. We've all got access to this database, okay? And it's just a matter of how we use it. The second way that I describe LinkedIn is it is a tool that you can use to get the conversation started. Okay, and then it's got many sub tools within that you can actually further use to initiate a conversation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some information that I have to share with you right now, and it's a PowerPoint. So I will just click it on to start. Here we go. Okay, so tips and tricks.
Exactly. Yeah, just before we start, we just check some comments on the feedback that visited us, so that, you know, again, our audience can learn more and more about LinkedIn. So, so we have Karen Latif. She's joining us, and she's saying, keep up the good work, both of you. Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
Then we have Sheikh Hassan. Hi, Amna, good to see you. Thank you very much for joining in. Good to see you too over here. Then Nafar Hussain is saying, always have appetite to hear tips from Amna and keep motivating and educating your community. Thank you very much for your feedback and the kind words. I hope it helps. Then Shah Hussain, he is saying, a pleasure to have both of you here. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. And let's begin to the massive information we are talking about. So let's begin with that.
Here we go. Tips and tricks for LinkedIn. Now, first of all, when you really want to get into LinkedIn, you've got to ask yourself the question, when people want to know more about you, what are they going to see? Okay. And where are they going to go? And that is to your profile. So LinkedIn is best used for B2B, business to business style of services. Okay, and as I mentioned earlier, it is the world's largest database of businesses, their owners, and their employees. So think about the potential that could possibly offer you if you really started using it effectively. Okay, it's very effective as a tool to get the conversation started, to establish, build, and nurture relationships with your target audience, and importantly, to position you as an authority within your industry. Okay. So when people want to know more about you, Where are they going to look? And that is at your LinkedIn profile. So here are some tools that will help you. First of all, when people first go to your profile, when they first visit your profile, it's a good idea to think about it a little bit strategically. And what I mean by that is, number one, to have a banner image. And these are two tools that you can use to build yourself a banner image. One of them is canva.com. And you want to use the dimensions of 1583 by 396 pixels. And the other tool is called snapper.com. I used Canva for years. It's a great platform. Then I switched over to snapper.com because Snapper allows one to download a high-res image. Okay, so that's really useful for putting your banner image together. Now, importantly, try to include a key benefit statement aimed towards your target audience. In other words, what's in it for them? Try to give them a reason to want to read further, to want to know more about you. Okay. All right. The next slide is about your face pick. Now, with your face pick, let's face it, we all want to put our best face pick forward, so to speak. Sometimes it's hard to figure out which is our best face pick. So here's a website called photofeeler.com. And PhotoFeeler actually allows you to upload your face pic, and members of the public will vote on it, and they'll give you some feedback on it. They will literally tell you how confident you look, how right you appear, how influential you appear, based on your uploaded. And they will also give you a score on your face pic as well. So it's invaluable for figuring out which is the best Facebook for you, which is going to present you the best way to target audience. Okay. All right. Now, this is another platform called ShareFree. If you're looking from the top down to your profile, people are going to know your banner image, your Facebook, and next is your headline. Now, this is a platform that was originally developed so people could perfect their headlines for their Google ads, their Facebook ads. And it's great for developing your headline for your LinkedIn profile. And it's basically where you can fine-tune how it can affect your headline for your LinkedIn profile. And it scores your changes. So you can see with that live scoring exactly how its own algorithm is telling you if you're going in the right direction with your headline or not. Okay, so it's a great platform to use there. Okay, now, many of you who have been on LinkedIn would know about what's called your social selling index. Some of you will not. This is where LinkedIn provides a tool that will actually score your efforts on LinkedIn. Okay? And so just go to Google. Here we go. On Google and search for LinkedIn Social Selling Index. Okay. And then literally just log in and it will give you a free score of your most recent efforts on LinkedIn. Okay.
Wow.
And then to give you an idea, you can see here there are 4 components to your score. So one is establishing your professional brand. The next one is finding and connecting with the right people within your target audience. Okay. The next one is your engagement, how well you're engaging with other people. And then the fourth one is building on those relationships. Okay. So it actually tells you where you can improve and where you're doing well. Okay. And so it's an invaluable part of LinkedIn. And then the other thing that it also does is it compares you to other people similar to yourself within your industry and what their average score is. So here you can see that the average people in my industry is scoring 23. And people in your network, the average of your network is 49. So for this my particular network, the average out of all of them is 49. But I've got a ton of connections, so it's going to be very different for individual people. So it's a really useful tool to figure out how your current efforts are working for you on LinkedIn. Okay, now let's go on to the next one. So your LinkedIn profile should include a banner header image with the dimensions of 1584 by 396 pixels. As I mentioned earlier, it's a great idea to try and include a key benefit statement aimed towards your target audience. Use either Canva or to build your header image. Test your face pick, how responsive people are to it by using photo filler. Test your headline with share through. Again, try to include a key benefit statement aimed towards your target audience. And when you're putting together your profile, I use a thing called the WIFT formula, which stands for what's in it for them. Okay. So if you're in business, think along the lines of, when you're writing your profile, think along the lines of what's in it for them. Think about your objective, which in many cases is to generate the inquiry, to entice the email, the message in your inbox, the phone call. Okay. So when you write your profile along the lines of what's in it for them, that's thinking along the lines of how they are going to be reading your profile. Okay. All right. Add as much information about you as possible in both your about section, up to 2,400 characters, and also your experience section, up to 2,000 characters. So don't shortchange this. Use as many of those characters as possible. Okay. You can.
Yeah.
All right. Next, try to include some social proof, such as testimonials, case studies, or similar. And I'll go more into social proof very shortly, and particularly how you can set up your own case studies. Okay. Make it as easy as possible for people to reach out, for people to get in touch with you. With LinkedIn, there's a separate contact section where most people should have their contact details. I'm a firm believer it's a good idea to include your contact details at the end of your about section and also at the end of your experience section. And the reason is, I believe you want to make it as easy as possible for people to reach out and get in touch with you, especially after they've just read all about what you do, what you offer, how you can help them, etc. Okay. Add media such as articles, PDFs posted on SlideShare, images, certificates, even videos linked across from YouTube to the lower section of your about and experience sections, or featured and experience section. And finally, you can also find my tips here. I did a series of LinkedIn tips late last year called 30 Tips in 30 Days, and you can find them under the hashtag 30 Tips in 30 Days. And gotta love LinkedIn, and there's actually 40 of them sitting in there. Okay.
Yeah, and I just love these tips which you share. It's amazing.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay, let's have a look at social proof. Some of you may be wondering, what is social proof? Social proof is what literally separates the doers from the wannabes. Okay, the doers and achievers from the wannabes. And what that literally means is, these days, when somebody's looking online for somebody to do business with, they're looking for somebody who provides a particular service or particular product, or whatever it is that they're looking for. One of the most important things they're going to be looking for is social proof. Testimonials, recommendations, reviews, case studies, articles, content, anything that strengthens in their mind that you are the right person, that they should be talking about the services that you offer. Okay. And so that's where you can never have too much social proof. All right. So let's go on to the next section. So what actually is social proof? As I just mentioned, testimonials, recommendations, reviews, case studies. And here is a formula that you can use to develop your own case study, and it's very easy. You identify and describe a problem, a common problem or a regular problem experienced by your target audience or target market.
Yeah.
You detail the basic solution that you provided, the results that you achieved for your particular client, solving that problem, finishing or culminating with a testimonial from your client. Okay. And you prepare this into a document, just a very simple, very straightforward document. And very important, do not include any pricing, because you're going to send this case study out to people who want to know more about you and your services or your products, but you don't want them making a price-based decision before you get to talk to them again.
Right.
Okay. So you're going to send them details of the solutions that you provided, the results that you achieved, and how happy your previous client is with what you did for them. Okay, and that's what a case study basically is. Okay. All right. So it's a good idea to try and get as much social proof as possible. Try asking for recommendations, testimonials, reviews, and make that an integral part, a regular part of your ongoing business development. Okay. The key to getting more social proof, and I learned this myself from a friend of mine who has over 1,000 recommendations. Okay.
Wow.
Over 1,000. All right.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
when I saw this and I did an interview with him, I said to him, how do you wind up with over 1,000 recommendations? And he turned around to me and he said, it's really simple. Just ask.
Okay. Just all right.
Now,
Just
he will go into a company, a large corporation. He will do a workshop for a room of 100 executives. Okay, so just put this into context. And he will ask them for a recommendation. And so when he has finished his workshop at the end of that day, he will more than likely get 50, 60, 70 recommendations from them. And that's how he's got over 1,000 of them. But importantly, he made it part of his business development strategy. And then just as importantly, he asked. Okay. All right. So, all right. So here's my profile. And you're welcome to have a look at my profile. Get some ideas from it if you like. If you scroll down my profile, you'll find there's a section full of icons and symbols and emojis that you're welcome to copy and paste and use any of those. They're there for people to use, just if you want to add a little bit of color, a little bit of design elements or style or whatever you'd like to call it to your own profile. You'll see how up the top here, I've got a banner image that tells the audience literally what I do. And here I'm covering several topics. I'm covering my LinkedIn training. I'm also covering a particular niche that I work with, which is mortgage brokers and realtors and real estate agents. And I do LinkedIn and Facebook training for them. The fact that I'm a LinkedIn and Facebook trainer and coach, and then my business name, etc. Here you'll see in the headline, and you're allowed just over 4 lines. You're allowed, it's either 220 or 240 characters there. And so work your headline using share through. And understand also that your LinkedIn profile, just like your life, just like your career, is an ongoing work in progress. Exactly. You're going to make changes, you're going to make updates to it as time goes on. Changes in your business, changes in your career, promotions, new responsibilities or business responsibilities that might come up, call for updates to your LinkedIn profile. So just understand that it's never 100% perfect, because you'll keep on making those updates as you go. Importantly, with your about section, make sure when you're building your profile that you have a look at how it displays on both your desktop or laptop versus how it displays on your mobile or cell phone, because it displays a little bit different. And this first line here is what can display a little bit differently on your mobile or cell phone versus how it displays here on a desktop. Okay. So yeah, really important. And then finally, make sure you add media. Try to make your profile as interesting as possible to the viewer, to the reader of your profile. So add those videos, add those successful posts, add those PDF documents or those video links from either your website or YouTube, etc. So try and make it as interesting as possible for the viewer, for the reader of your profile. Okay, almost done. There's my SSI again. And we'll just go on to, if you'd like to connect or follow me on LinkedIn, just go to LinkedIn and type in results formula or Derick Mildred and you'll find me, or search LinkedIn for Derick Mildred, or go to my website, results-formula.com.
Absolutely. That's so great.
Okay. Now, we were going to talk about content.
Yes, absolutely. So again, we will be talking about Now again, Derek, once we have created our profile, once we have optimized our profile, beautify our profile, and the key is to keep on updating, as you mentioned it,
Yeah,
as per
yeah,
your career, as per your career transition, as per your industry, and so on. Now the time comes that sometimes people leave your profile. They don't post anything or make any content. So now again, how important is to make a content, and what type of content can help you grow in your industry, in your niche. So what are the tips basically you would like to, give us,
okay.
that what type of content can add value basically in your life and career, I must say.
All right. First of all, let me answer that by answering the question. Let's rephrase that a little bit. What content should you never post? Okay.
Yeah.
Don't ever post content that sells.
Uh-huh, right. Okay.
Okay. Do not ever post content that sells. What type of content can help us achieve results? I'll cover that very, very shortly.
Yes.
First of all, the reason you don't want to post content that sells is because everybody has been sold to at one point or another. And we all know our reaction when we get that sales pitch inside our inbox, let alone when we see it as content. Okay.
Okay.
People have exactly the same reaction to when they see the sales pitch in their inbox, and they have exactly the same reaction to when they see the sales pitch in content.
Okay.
Right. So never post content that sells. Right. Instead, and this is to answer that question, what type of content can help us achieve results? Post content that adds value without selling.
Wow, now
Okay.
this is challenging, I must say.
Now,
Yeah.
so how do you do that? It's really
Yeah.
simple. Think about your target audience.
Hmm.
Think about what's in it for them. Think about what you do and how you can help them.
Hmm.
Okay. And
Okay.
then write down a content plan, a plan of action. Just write down a list of all the different content subjects or topics that you could post about. Okay. Now, that content could be a text post, it could be text and image, it could be video, it could be an article. Okay. So you've got your choice as to what you can post, the type of content you can post. But importantly, think about your target audience, how you help them, the service that you provide. Okay. And write down a plan of the services that you do that actually helps them. All right. So why should you
Right.
post content that adds value without selling? It's really simple, because you are establishing, building, nurturing a relationship. Okay.
Yeah.
You are building on that know, like, and trust factor. People buy from people they know, like, and trust.
That's
Okay.
important. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Now, here's another really important point that this leads me to. You use LinkedIn as a tool to get the conversation started,
Yeah.
as a tool to build those relationships, and as a tool to take the conversation to the next level, which is away from LinkedIn, which is your phone call, your Zoom call, your face-to-face meeting, your invitation to an event, what it might be. And it is away from LinkedIn where you talk about what you particularly offer and how much you charge for it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You do not talk about that on LinkedIn. And the
Uh-huh.
reason for that is it's too early in the conversation. Okay. So
Right.
what you do is you use LinkedIn to establish, build, and nurture the relationship, to build that know, like, and trust factor. And this is where content that adds value is a significant and important part of this. And then you take that conversation to the next level,
Yeah.
at that next level away from LinkedIn, where you basically do your selling.
Right.
Okay. And then there's,
Absolutely.
there's a saying from many years ago that the best salesmen in the world, they don't sell. They
Yeah.
just talk to people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so,
And
yes.
yeah, I would just like to add over here that it literally happens when people like your work, when people like the content which you're making, they
Yep.
are really interested to talk in the inbox or over the call or over the table.
Yep.
It really happens. So I think again this is content creation is a challenging part. Yet it is worthwhile when you do it in a right way with the right intentions, I believe. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. And the key with creating content is just get started. Get started with what you're comfortable with. So if you don't want to do a video, that's fine. Don't do a video. Just put up a text post or put up a text and image post. Okay? But just get started. And the more of it you do, the better at it you'll become, the more comfortable at it you'll become, and then you'll improve over time. Okay. Importantly, whenever you put up content, make sure that you interact with other people's content before you post your own.
Yeah.
Okay. Because if you put up your own content, you haven't interacted with anybody else, nobody knows you, and they won't interact with you. But if you start interacting with other people, if you start to build a tribe, if you start to build a community around you, then you will get more interaction with your own content.
Absolutely, right. So whenever you're presenting yourself basically in front of your, again, people, tribe, then they are again more driven to your content than, okay, hey, what she's writing or what he's making, the content
Exactly.
about their industry and stuff. Absolutely, it's amazing. So let's check some comments if we have, and then
Sure.
we'll move further. Yep.
Yep.
So, all right, Sheikh Hassan. Okay. Thank you very much, guys, for joining in, and I really, really appreciate. So, Abir is saying great work. Absolutely, it is a great work which Derick has shown us. Okay, and Ali Beg is saying wonderful insights, Derick, and thank you, Anna, for introducing him. Wow, you're welcome. Okay, so there's a question from Ali. He is asking, how often do you need to post in a week?
Try to post every day. Even if it's just once a day, try to post every day. Now, to put that into context, not everybody has enough ideas for content to post every day. Also, not everybody has the time to post every day. All right. So, as I mentioned earlier, just get started, and then the more comfortable at it you become, the better at it you'll become, and then you'll start to want to post more and more. I personally post 2 to 3 times a day, every day of the week. I know one particular influencer who posts on the weekend almost every hour.
Every hour?
Every hour.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so that makes that okay. If he's doing every hour, so what we can make a good one number? What would you like to advise over here? Like how many posts in a
I
day,
think,
maybe?
I think just get started posting 2 or 3 times a week, and then build that to 1 post a day. Right?
All
Do
right.
what you're
Okay.
comfortable with, but just get started. Because a lot of people, here's what a lot of people worry about when they're posting. What if other people don't like it? And what if other
Yes.
people don't like me? Okay.
Exactly. That's yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's
Here's,
somehow that's called the insecurity. People think about it, being insecure that why should I write something because people won't like it. But again, get started. It
yeah,
will be
just get started. And here's a
something.
news flash for everybody. Don't worry about what other people think. There's 760 million people on LinkedIn. There's going to be some people out there that like your stuff. Okay.
Absolutely, yes, yes, yes. Again,
Okay.
so Derick, it's all about a confidence, also maybe having a confidence in yourself.
Also, when you do get somebody who look, unfortunately, all social media has its trolls. Okay, has its idiots. And when you do get somebody who doesn't like what you're posting, there's one simple way to deal with them: just block them.
Yeah,
They'll never be able to see your profile or your content ever again. So you go to
yeah,
their profile and you block them. Don't worry about what other people think. Just post.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I hope Ali, you got your answer and you can start working on it. And thank you
Yeah.
so much, guys, for joining in, and really, really appreciate it. So moving on to the next point of the conversation, which is again very important and really like. Uh, essential to understand basically the part of connections. So whenever we make profiles on LinkedIn, so I heard myself when I started my journey on LinkedIn that have your connections, okay, have a number of connections, and I was like, oh, why should I have more connections? I only want my people whom I know, and that's all. I was like
Mhm.
this. And then I was answered that when you will have a quantity, from that quantity, you can bring out the quality
Yes.
of the connections in your LinkedIn. Then it draws me actually, and then I start. So now, what would you like basically to tell our audience that how to understand to whom we should be connecting, and then to take that connection to the again next level, and then go on and keep on in connection to the page, the LinkedIn, and as well as in our maybe personal life.
Hmm.
What would you say?
Well, first of all, on Facebook, your personal profile on Facebook allows you 5,000 connections.
Hmm.
Why am I bringing up Facebook? Really simple. This is how good LinkedIn is. LinkedIn allows you 30,000 connections. Okay, so there's a bit of a difference there. All right.
Yes.
That's 30,000 first level directly connected to you that you're allowed. All right.
Hmm.
And then after that 30,000, all the new ones become followers.
Yeah.
Right. So you can no longer have any more connections, but just recently I've clocked over 31,000. So I've got uh, 1,000 that are followers. Okay.
Okay.
Put that into context. When you are connecting with people, I always advise that you send them a personalized request to connect. Okay, don't just click on that connect button. Send them a little message. You've got up to 300 characters, so send them just a little introductory message. Give them a reason why you want to connect to them. Make sure you have a look at their profile. Ultimately, try to find a mutual area of interest on their profile and mention that mutual area of interest that you share with them during that initial introductory message. Okay, so give them a reason to want to connect with you. And then when they do connect, send them a thank you for connecting message. Okay, and this just helps to build on that friendship, and it helps to get that conversation started.
Hmm. Right. Right. Okay. And one more thing. Right now, at your current profile, do you know every connection personally and professionally?
Of 30,000?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. That's natural and totally fair. But again, this is again also I heard that you need to know everyone
Yeah.
because you are actually inviting them or accepting them in your network. So you should be knowing them. You should be knowing their work. So how does it work basically? Because it's too much. Yeah.
I've recently just clocked over 30,000 late last month. Now I'm at 31, and somebody asked me, of those 30,000 connections, how many of them are actually connections and how many of them are followers? And so
Yeah.
I went into my LinkedIn, and there's a place under my network where you can do this. And I actually have just over 24,000 first level connections, and I have just over 6,000 followers. So right now I've actually got about 7,000 followers. All right.
Uh-huh.
So there's 24,000 that are first level connections. Do I know all of them? No. Yes, I'm connected to all of them, but there are people there that I'm connected to who can be useful or helpful to me in business. Okay.
Right.
So people who are leaders in their particular target audience that might be beneficial to me. That's why I'm connected to them.
Yes.
Okay.
So
And
again,
that's where you can build your network in a very useful way.
yeah, and it happens like this also. It's not necessary that you would be knowing each and every person at LinkedIn profile, but again, they are looking at you. They are knowing your work. They know your community. They are supporting your work at the same time. So again, there is I must say, different connection. Yet they are connected to you. A different touch to the connection that they are somehow a well wishers to you,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So you have your connections and you have your close connections.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's totally cool. Yeah. Okay. So let's check. We
And
have.
to further elaborate, just one thing I should touch on. When
Yeah.
you're looking for people to connect, try to connect with people that are a match for your target audience, your target market. Okay. So let's say let's say you're a mortgage broker, for example, or a finance broker, and you want to connect with a lot of people in real estate. So you might want to connect with a lot of real estate agents or realtors, as they're also known. Okay, so you would look for realtors or real estate agents to connect with. If you're an accountant and you might work with financial planners, so you might look for financial planners to connect with. So look for people to connect with who are a match for your target audience, your target market, and try to connect with as many of those as possible.
Mhm. Absolutely. Okay, so we have Hassan. He is saying very fruitful interview. Well done. All right,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining and tuning in. I hope this is very beneficial, basically. So moving on to the next, again, a very much like huge point of discussion, which we like it. That's marketing at LinkedIn, how to
Yep.
grow our business, become a business leader, and again, it's all about achieving your best results. So how does it work? Again, as you
Okay.
mentioned before, that we don't have to sell at
Yep.
LinkedIn, yet we have to market or promote our product or service.
Yep.
How it works. Mhm.
Okay. Number one, make sure your profile presents you in the best way possible. Okay. Because when people want to know more about you, what are they going to see? All right. And your profile is one of the areas that they're going to look at. Okay. So make sure your profile presents you in the best way possible. Importantly, make sure it's got as much social proof as possible. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, make sure you're posting content that adds value to your target audience, because that helps to position you as an authority within your industry, somebody who's really good at what they do, somebody who, when people want to know more about you, they are encouraged to read further and ultimately reach out and get in touch. Okay, so make sure you post content that adds value without selling, positions you as an authority within your industry. Number three, if you're serious about targeting people within a specific niche or a particular audience, have a look at Sales Navigator. Sales Navigator is the sales funnel of LinkedIn. This is where you can narrow down, you can fine tune your search so that you can basically create lists of people who are an exact match for your target market. Okay, and then you can reach out and connect with them and start to build those relationships with them, and then establish, build, and nurture that relationship so that you can take the conversation with them to the next level, which is away from LinkedIn, an appointment, a face-to-face meeting, a Zoom call, phone call, etc.
Okay, and how about, yeah, what is that?
That's basically it.
Yes, and how about the Sales Navigator? Is it in a premium account? Like we have to become a premium member?
There's two types of subscriptions on LinkedIn. One is LinkedIn Premium, which basically gives you some extra search filters, and it also gives you increased numbers of who has recently viewed your profile. Okay, so without LinkedIn Premium, you can only see the most recent 3 people who have viewed your LinkedIn profile, I think it is. Whereas with LinkedIn Premium, you can see people who've viewed your profile going back weeks if you want to. So that's the basic premium subscription. Sales Navigator is another level above premium. Here in Australia, Sales Navigator is about $100 a month. So that they have it in different currencies all around the world. So just check how much it is within your own area, your own country, and it's not very effective. It's not very expensive. It's very affordable, and it's an amazing part of the LinkedIn platform.
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, absolutely. Again, there are many ways you can bring out the best from the LinkedIn while using it. Yeah, absolutely.
One other thing that I would like to mention that I love about Sales Navigator, Sales Navigator, even though it's part of LinkedIn, it's actually a separate website. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a separate website, and when you set up your lists on Sales Navigator, it has its own news feed, and it will populate its own news feed with content from just the people on your lists.
Okay.
So from only your prospects. So if you imagine a news feed full of content from only your leads or only your prospects.
More kind of like a personalized, customize your own choice. You want to see actually, or you want to,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
uh, engage
Just see
into like that.
waiting for you to interact with that content, especially before you send them a request to connect.
All right. So again, it's very, very helpful. Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah. It's a
Okay,
very powerful
that's
platform.
great. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's great. So how about a bonus tip from you for all the audience and viewers
Sure.
to learn
Happy to
more
help.
about LinkedIn?
The best suggestion that I can make for people either getting started and even people who've been using LinkedIn for a while is, number one, make sure your profile presents you in the best way possible. Okay. Make sure you include some social proof. Try to post content and work out a bit of a content plan. Work out a list of the different types, topics, subjects that you could post content on. And as you're writing out that list, you'll come up with other ideas, extra ideas that you can post content on. Okay. And then just get started posting content. Try to post content that adds value without selling. And most importantly, of all, don't sell on LinkedIn, and just be genuine, just be authentic, just be yourself. And that's what people really appreciate on LinkedIn.
To be yourself, to be the person you are in your industry as per your expertise. So
Yeah.
it works for you
Yeah.
and for everyone, basically, for your network. It's not about only the bragging about yourself, it's about delivering the best value in a best way, I think, being yourself.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned bragging because the LinkedIn community is a very authentic, it's a very genuine community. And when they see somebody who's being disingenuous, when they see somebody who's bragging, let's just say for some reason those posts don't do very well.
Yes. See, so I mean, this is natural, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, just be
Being
just be yourself. Just be yourself.
yeah.
And then the other thing too is you can see what other people are doing. So look at that, learn from it, learn from some of those successful posts, and you'll get an idea of what works and what doesn't.
Exactly. All right. Thank you so much, Derek, for the amazing insights sharing with us about LinkedIn, how it works basically. Because again, it's so much important to understand once we create our accounts, once we create our profiles, and then how to use it basically in your
Yeah.
career for your growth. So it's amazing. And I really had a very good time with you, listening to you, learning from you a lot, and hope same for our audience too. So stay connected, take care of yourself, and guys, you are more than welcome to check the details of Derek Mildred. I have mentioned in the streaming box and the description box below. You can connect to him. You can have a communication with him. He's very, very open and a supportive guy, what I know. And take care of yourself. See you soon. Stay safe. And bless you all with the day.
Thank you, Amna. It's been an absolute pleasure. Happy to help.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye for now.